stick around when you're just put into the deep end. Is there something you can You know you wanna be the right guy, the one that made when the shit be over. They've cut your quarter straight in my eye.
So a little bit about myself before I get into my whole spiel. My name is Ren. I'm 21 years old, and I'm a computer engineering student that goes to RIT. That's in upstate New York. Ouch! I just rolled over my toe. I like to draw, and I like to animate, and naturally I like to program things, being a computer engineering student, and I've worked on a lot of projects in the past. I made this robot out of a Snapple bottle, this advertisement for an iPhone that doesn't exist, this physics engine that runs on a graphing calculator, this gaming calculator that looks like a graphing calculator that you can play Minecraft on, and it has all these like cool, sexy, interactable LED lights. It's very cool. This gaming piano you can play Minecraft on, but not with. Reverse that actually. This gaming piano you can play Minecraft with, but not on, if that makes sense. This animated short film, this better animated short film, this programmable handheld shortcut device for your desktop that also doubles as a remote, like an infrared remote that I designed and programmed like literally everything for. I keep a copy of the PCB in my wallet, and it comes in handy whenever I tell people that I'm an engineer to differentiate myself from a computer scientist. But here it is. And a bunch of other like miscellaneous projects that would take too much time for me to get into. And I'm sorry to sort of like resume dump on you like that. Like that didn't feel good for me either. I just sort of need to like convince you of my ability to create things and show you what I've made in the past. So when I explain my vision for this project, it's a lot more like feasible in your mind, or it's a lot more easy for me to convince you of its feasibility. If you're watching this video, I'm willing to bet you work a lot with computers, in some way or another. Whether that's through education, employment, or for fun, or maybe you're in university or high school. If you're seeing this, I'm willing to bet you have an interest in some field of STEM. Maybe you grew up watching people make cool engineering projects on YouTube. Or maybe you've built your own PC, or took an interest in cybersecurity and started learning Kali Linux on your own. And maybe you watch YouTube videos on practical applications of mathematics. Maybe you have an interest in artificial intelligence and large language models, and got into computer science because of it. You might even like to design and 3D print things. Hell, maybe you're even into Blender and want to learn some compositing. Or maybe you just sort of want to be more technologically literate. Anything. If you're anything like me, you're sort of overwhelmed by the idea of how much you wish you knew in the world of STEM, but just sort of don't. Maybe you're a computer science student, but want to learn how to make your own circuit board for whatever reason. Maybe you're in electrical engineering and want to learn how hosting a website works for your portfolio. Maybe you're in IT and want to learn how to code a little better to automate your life. Maybe you're a cybersecurity major that wants to learn a thing or two about 3D modeling. Or maybe you're a bored high schooler and you want to learn how to exploit your school's outdated network services to gain admin privileges. Actually, don't do this one, I'm speaking from experience. Or maybe you're not even into tech at all, but you want to be, and you haven't really gotten any exposure to what it is you want to learn that seems so far away from what you currently do. If any of those things sounds like you are the target audience of this project. The working title for this project is called RenCTF. Emphasis on the working title. I promise I'm not a narcissist. Essentially, RenCTF is a platform built for students in universities, hobbyists, tinkers, and any STEM-curious person with the intention of exposing participants to miscellaneous topics they might want to learn on their own, but otherwise not be exposed to. And mechanically, this is achieved through weekly puzzles and a gamified competition hosted on the web app, and some pretty cool hardware things that I'll get to later. That was a lot of words. Just think of it as the Wordle for STEM. By the way, everything you're about to hear isn't some sort of like hypothetical play-by-play. I tested this out in my department with real participants, and it actually went how I'm about to describe. So, at the beginning of the month, there's a new season of RenCTF. Every week, there's 3 puzzles released on the website, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We call these puzzles CTFs, and it stands for Capture the Flag. The intention with these CTFs is to expose you to some random STEMmy topic. I'll get into them later. Participants are randomly put on red team or blue team upon signing up. On the website, there's a gigantic ongoing game of Othello, a board game I used to love playing as a kid. In case you don't know how Othello works, here's a tiny summary.
There's an 8x8 grid and 2 teams. You're trying to cover as much of the board with pieces of your team's color as possible. You can place pieces anywhere vertically or horizontally adjacent to a piece that's already been placed. indicated by these purple cells, and if you want to capture more points per move, you can sandwich pieces of the opposite color in between pieces of your own team's color to flip them. In RenCTF, to gain moves on the board, you have to solve the tri-weekly CTFs as they come out, and the amount of moves you're granted on the Othello board depends on the difficulty of the CTF you completed, considering easy, medium, and hard challenges. Okay, cool.
Okay, the CTFs themselves. Mechanically, CTFs are challenges where you're tasked with extracting a literal string of text, the flag, from some files you've been provided with. And in order to do that, you need to surpass some sort of technical obstacle that then grants you the flag. One thing I want to make clear is that these challenges are not intended to waste your time, and are meant to have you learn things. These challenges aren't intended to take more than 5, 10, or 15 minutes out of your day, and meant to be a fun brain teaser to show you something you maybe didn't know how to do before that you hopefully find interesting. Every time I release a CTF, I also release an accompanying hint video on everything you need to know about the topic to complete it on your own. And at the end of every week, Friday's challenge relates to what was taught on Monday and Wednesday. So on Monday, the challenge could be, hey, I'm gonna teach you what a Caesar cipher is and how to decode secret messages. On Wednesday, the challenge could be, so circuit boards are pretty cool, but did you know that you can design them and view them in like 2 minutes? Here's a bunch of circuit board files, go find me the flag. And on Friday, it could be like a hodgepodge combination between the two. Stuff that doesn't really like take you long to learn or like conceptualize, but things that are just really fun and useful information to just have under your belt. With how vast the world of technology and engineering is, and how overwhelming it is sometimes, the goal of these challenges is meant to give you a taste of everything you may not be exposed to. Everything that's interesting, at least.
Next video.
I'm actually going to do full examples of easy, medium, and hard CTFs, just to show you what they're like. Every time the board gets completely filled up, whichever team has the most coverage gets a point added to their team's weekly score, and the board is reset for another game. Whichever team wins the most overall Othello games by the end of the week gets the point for that week. And the cool thing about this is that I designed, programmed, and built a physical board that displays the progress of the current game in real time in my department. I'm editing, and I know how crazy that cut looks. I know it doesn't look exactly like the 3D model yet, but this project is a work in progress, okay? Cut me some slack. Along with the top competitors for the week and other fun, silly gifts. And you might have noticed that, like, this shirt also has the design on it. I can't tell if I'm just biased because I made the thing, but there's something so cool about seeing people solve the challenges on the website, having everything sync in real time, and also having a physical in-person board that I saw students stop by every so often to check the status of the game and their rankings. It was a really nice time when this was being tested out in my department. At the end of the season, the top competitors on the winning team, if you contributed, will be enshrined in a digital plaque available somewhere on the website. Your name, season stats, and a quote of yours can be inscribed on this really cool GIF and displayed on a portion of the website and on the board in the department. And I sort of know what you're thinking right now. I'm not in your department, Ren. I'm not even an RIT student. Why should I care about the existence of this one board when I'm not in proximity to it? And don't get me wrong, I'm saying this in good faith. I'm a part of the crowd that you addressed earlier. I want to be exposed to things that I might find interesting. And sure, it sounds like a cool side quest project for your university, but it doesn't scale well. How are you gonna custom make and moderate what goes on the plaques? Is there some sort of method for balancing teams automatically? I know what a CTF is. How are you gonna turn certain topics into CTFs? The form factor is kind of limited for the things you talked about covering, so like, how does that work? And are you gonna keep manually creating CTFs and their accompanying tutorial videos for the rest of your life? And a billion other questions I've come up with over the course of watching your video, and a trillion more questions that'll come to me as you answer the billion. And you're right. This is where you have to work with me a little bit. I'm gonna be delusional for a second, and you have to suspend your disbelief. Okay? I want to open source the software and hardware for this project and get it to a state where other universities can build and deploy it for themselves. And you can host whatever challenges are relevant to your department. It doesn't just need to be limited to STEM or whatever. And obviously it wouldn't be named RenCTF. It would be named whatever your department wants it to be. It could be named Patrick CTF for all I care. And if you're not in university, don't worry. Keep in mind you're letting me be delusional here for a second, okay? The idea is that there's local branches, exclusive to wherever they've been deployed. deploy, so like universities and high schools and whatever. And the main branch, anyone can participate in. This is a concept for a DIY ESP32 based alarm clock kit that you can build and program yourself. It reads the status of the main branch to serve as a personal memento stand-in for the physical board that's usually in universities. And the DIY kit part is to match the spirit of the project. Just because you're not exposed to these types of things doesn't mean you're incapable of doing them. And hardware is something that I see people sort of abstracting to a degree that they don't need to abstract it, especially for something as small as this. I'm going for like the sleek design of teenage engineering meets the DIY educational part of Adafruit. And I understand more than anyone that this is ambitious. And there's so many things I haven't mentioned that I've thought about doing, because I want to give out these sick t-shirts to the winners, and I want to have multi-tiered season-specific custom plaques, and I want to have different game modes. And I know it's ambitious. I'm making this video to let you know that this project exists. This is something that I sort of want to be in the public eye, because I want this to be a real thing. I know this project is ambitious. When I ran a test on this project back in the fall, it sort of like just worked. It worked for the scale it was being deployed at, you know, there are no there might have been some like technical or logistical errors in the way that we deployed it in our department, but it just sort of worked. I look at the code that I wrote for RenCTF, and I look at the case that I designed, and I just cringe a little bit. Not because I know that I can do better and I know how to do better, but I know that it needs to be for the project that I want this to be. Sure, it's a pretty cool resume project, but I don't want this to just be a resume project. I'm not trying to make another I'm trying to find something on my desk that is just another thing that I show to employers, but I'm not trying to make that, you know? And I don't want to make something that just works for my department. Like, I want this to be robust and tried and tested and thorough. And I want this to be a thing that other people, if they want to, can deploy in their departments as well. And that's assuming the thing actually does just work. Just works. Because it definitely doesn't. There's definitely like exploits and bugs and vulnerabilities. And there's just things that I need to fix about the whole project. Like, I'm looking at the case and I'm looking at the 30 models that I made and I'm like, damn. And sure, there's a decent amount of ground that I, a singular developer, covered making this project in terms of the web app and the server hosting and the hardware and the EDA and everything. You know, I'm an engineer. I'm completing my bachelor's in engineering. Like, my time is very limited. Doing that has left an indescribable amount of holes that I need to patch along the way. So the reason I'm making this video is just to let you know that it exists and that I'm working on it. I hope you all will stick with me in this journey to hopefully making this thing a pretty cool project. A couple of closing remarks before I end the video. We'll do the serious stuff first and then the fun stuff. So the serious stuff, here's what you can expect from this channel. You will not be getting highly edited videos like this one. The reason this video is an exception is because it serves as the spokesperson for this project, neatly packaging all of what RenCTF is and what I want it to be in a short little 15-minute video. However, you can expect lightly edited update videos every couple of weeks detailing my progress and further elaborating on features I lightly touched on in this video. I sort of erroneously wrote into the scripts that I'd be doing examples of the CTFs in this video, but sort of had to edit that out because time didn't allow. But you'll be getting that video in the near future. I can't begin to describe how bare bones this project is, for what I want it to be anyway. I'm not selling you vapor. Obviously the project is very much functional. You can actually take a look at the code yourself if you want. The GitHub is public. But I say this project is bare bones because I want to be transparent with you all. There's a couple of things I mentioned in this video that aren't fully implemented or automated yet, and I didn't necessarily talk about them like they weren't. Not like core features, but for example, that digital plaque thing is very far from being implemented, let alone automated. That actually wasn't even like a reward tier when I tested this out, but it was, when we tested this out in my department, it was actually a coffee maker because I was a software engineer at Keurig. And I just had a bunch of coffee makers left over. But anyway, yeah, that's so far from being done. I was very flip-floppy about mentioning the DIY alarm clock kit stand-in thingy because it's basically another project entirely and extremely far away from being prioritized. But I felt it was important to include because not only is it tangentially related to this project, but it's very important to the vision for what I'm going to be building for the next couple of years, hopefully. Okay, now for the fun stuff. If you want to keep up with me or my projects on other platforms than YouTube, especially if you want t-shirts, those are actually coming pretty soon. I have a Twitter, I might post occasional updates too, and I hate this platform with every fiber of my being, but I have a LinkedIn, I guess, if you're that kind of person. I've also set up a Discord server with a general and Q&A channel. Feel free to join it if you want to keep up with the project, participate in tests, or shoot me any messages or questions. If you want to support me monetarily, I have a coffee set up, so if you want to send a couple bucks my way, you totally can. I can't give you anything in return right now, even though I plan to in the future through t-shirts and maybe like a contributor section on the website. But right now I don't really have anything solid. I'm sorry. I think that's all I had to say. Thank you for making it to the end, and I'm excited to finally have this as a thing that I'm posting publicly. And also, if you're just a subscriber from previous projects, I know it's kind of awkward. I'm just like making this video without addressing it, but I hope you will welcome me back and not hate me for leaving for another 2 years. But yeah, that's the video. Thank you.
How's hiking to school?
I'm trying to. I was